Well, Kambwili is in the news again, and ever since the Patriotic Front held the convention, at least the one that elected Makebi Zulu, he has been off the grid. The last public image that was seen of Kambwili was the time that he was with Gideon Luminda at some Braille event. That was after Makebi Zulu's election as a Patriotic Front president. In as much as they don't want to admit to say it's a Patriotic Front because the case is still active in court. But yeah, whatever party that Makebi Zulu says is under the tagline where he was elected, Kambwili has been off the grid since then. He hasn't issued any public statements. That's because he's got a number of court cases that are still pending, as you may be aware, very active in court. So one of the cases that come up today, and he put up an audio. I'll share this audio later on this platform, but pretty much the extract of that audio is pretty much giving praise to Harry Kalawa, which has made people start thinking to say, is it some sort of endorsement of Buhari Kalawa, or is somebody saying? So according to Emmanuel Mwamba's post, he says, Patriotic Front strongman Kambwili has called on unity in the opposition, echoing the comment made earlier by Honorable Given Luminda. If you remember, it should have been yesterday, where Given Luminda made a statement to say, it's very sad to watch the number of presidential candidates that are fighting in to stand as presidents on different parties, including the Patriotic Front, and most of the candidates are coming from the PF. I think at the moment we should have about 4 candidates from within the Patriotic Front that are filed in to run as president with the ECZ. So Kambwili was re-echoing the same point, or reiterating the same points, to say if the opposition does not unite ahead of the August election, it's a non-factor in this sense. So he says the filing in of 25 of presidential candidates seeking to contest the 2026 general elections is unacceptable. He has commended Citizen First President Harry Kalawa for demonstrating resilience and focused leadership during the turbulent period and attacks against his political party from the Democratic Party, and also the gradual shift to the Citizen First Party. So he says Harry Kalawa has proven his tenacity and ability to fight within the confines of the playing field that is currently prevailing. While the news diggers carries that head and say the Patriotic Front PF is finished, only fools will remain, says recently defected PF members of parliament. So as you may be aware, there's been a number of defections that have been happening within the Patriotic Front, people moving in, most especially to the UPND, with the hope of them being adopted as members of parliament, to which the UPND made a statement, should have been a couple of days ago, where they're saying people that are moving from the Patriotic Front in the pretext to say, or condition that they should be adopted on the UPND ticket. If they're not popular on the ground, the UPND is not going to adopt those candidates. So it's not guaranteed just because you shift from the PF and move into the UPND that you'll be a preferred candidate in that sense. But anyway, the MPs put up that statement. And then Kambwili was in court, was supposed to be in court earlier on today, as I said. So the trial for former cabinet minister Kambwili failed to take place in the Lusaka Magistrate Court after the accused reportedly fell ill, with a lawyer citing high blood sugar levels. So he's diabetic. I think that's a known fact for a while. There's been a number of instances where he's actually fainted on. This is during Edgar Shagalungu's tenure, where he fainted at court, and yeah, he's got sugar levels and should be BP. So it seems like one of those conditions that popped up, and the lawyers simply said they will provide the necessary documentation to prove that their candidate, or what you call them, their client, will not be able to appear in court. And then Sampa seems to be going hard with his campaigns. He has put it very clear at this point now, simply stating he's not going to contest at presidential level. He's made it very clear he's going to be contesting on the parliamentary level. Now the question is on which constituency, and it seems like he's leaving it vague, as opposed for him to contest a Matero seat or some seat within Matero. It seems like he's opened it up for the entire city. He says, coming soon, amongst the 10 constituencies in Lusaka, which one will it be? So simply saying, where is it going? Then again, why is he gambling with this? If he can contest in material, why not pick up the material seat? But anyway, he feels he's popular enough to pick up any constituency within Lusaka and recontest. In that sense, I suspect he's likely to pick the constituency near Bowden, because he moved back to that house that is near Repadze Hill is it in Nyumbayanga, thereabout. So most likely he might pick that constituency, whatever that constituency is called, and run there. What I can confirm now is that I will definitely stand as a member of parliament in one of the 10 Lusaka city constituencies. God will give us the signal by the nomination day of 18th May 2026. That's Mount Sampa simply saying yes, he's very much going to contest, and yeah, he's just waiting for a signal. But at this point, his voters card is supposed to be reflecting wherever he intends to contest. Or is he just using this as a decoy for him to pick the same material seat and recontest there? We'll wait and see. And then opposition disunity divine, that's according to Cornelius Mwetwa. He says 25 presidential aspirants with 4 of the candidates from the Patriotic Front topping the list reflects a selfish and confused opposition with no agenda, as he projects that President Hichilema is as good as unopposed in the August general elections, as the 13th August general elections. That's according to pronouncement. They're simply saying what's happening in the opposition. They're simply giving a landslide victory to Hakainde Hichilema as we head in that vote. I call upon my brother Harikawa, Kevin Fuwewaria, Fred Membe, Makebi Zulu, that the same way we have come together in Waza, we can join hands and work together. Tonse Alliance President, as Brian Mwimbu is asking for unity. But this issue about unity is always in the air. Everyone is calling for unity, but everyone wants people to unite with them, with the endorsement of them as a candidate. That's where the issue is. It's not that no one, they don't want to unite, and they are not aware that without unity, none of them is able to fare well in the upcoming general elections. It's a fact that everyone is calling on unity on the pretext that you come and support me as a candidate. Not that I'll come to this conversation with the prospect that anybody of us can be picked, and I'm willing to be subservient in terms of my ambitions and allow someone else who's more popular or someone else that has been picked by the group to lead as a card bearer or the person that is going to run as president. But everyone's calling for unity on that pretext, and that's why it has failed in the past 5 years now, yes. If we do not unite as opposition, Zambians will teach us a painful lesson, says Antonio Mwanza, and which is very true. Zambians are very clear about that. This nonsense of having 27 presidential candidates on one ballot box makes no sense, only for them. What is this is Jack Mwimbu says he's going to recontest. So according to Emmanuel Mwamba, it seems like Jack Mwimbu hasn't been in parliament for 30 years now, according to that post he says there. But he's definitely the longest serving member of parliament. And the exact years that he's been in parliament for are not known. I've seen people throwing out 25 years and 30 years, so it's between those two. Either he's been in parliament for 30 years, or if he wins now, he's going to be in parliament for 30 years. Oh, he's already 25 years above that. Anyway, one of those, but definitely a longest serving member of parliament. So he says he's going to recontest, and he's going to be contesting in Monze East, the new constituency. So as you may be aware, during the delimitation process, Monze was divided into 2 constituencies. So he says he's going to move to Monze East. And yeah, he was giving his farewell speech there. So Jack Mwimbu has no intention of stepping aside from the political playing field at this point. The Electoral Commission of Zambia has certified over 8.7 million voters in this year's voter register, with 53.1% representing females and 46% being youth. So those are the statistics. 8.7 million votes are expected in this year's election. Obviously, we wait and see how the tabulation will fall with the opposition and the UPND, really, as we head there. Electoral Commission of Zambia Chief Electoral Officer Brian Kasalo says presidential candidates have to declare assets and liabilities, but the commission has no legal basis of making information public, reports Phoenix FM. So that's the feedback that has come with regard to that conversation of people making their assets known. What is the Electoral Commission of Zambia? Has pretty much certified 8.7 million votes as we head into August elections, and then has also disclosed that 100,000 duplicate records were identified and removed from the provisional register. So those are statistics from that update. And then filing in of nomination in the 2026 general elections will be very tough for aspiring candidates, as they have to be accompanied by a lawyer for obvious Mingalato targeted to eliminate opposition candidates. That's according to Brian Apunda, simply saying there will be a lot of games with people being deemed ineligible to contest, so they should always carry a lawyer as they go and filing their nominations. And then George Mudonga says, see how quiet Zambia is, as if there is no general election coming up. Peace brought to you by the UPND. And to which Brian Apunda responds to say, it is silent waters that drown a man. When you are addressing a meeting and people are just quiet, staring at you throughout without any contribution, just know that there is something wrong. So he says, no, silence is not a good sign for the UPND pretty much there. That's a rebuttal coming from Brian Apunda. And then what else is in the news? Says, by the way, not all 29 candidates will be on the ballot. Some will fail to mobilize the 1,000 supporters, and others will and other requirements. Technically, they made 100,000 donation to ECZ. That's according to KBN TV. So simply saying a number of people that have paid that money will not make it because they will not meet the criteria required by the ECZ. What is the ruling on MPs who have crossed floor will be delivered. So the Speaker of the National Assembly has stated to say a verdict will be given on what happens to the MPs that have moved from the Patriotic Front moving into the UPND as we head into the election. But then one would ask to say at this point, I think Parliament is being dissolved either next week or the week after. But very soon Parliament is being dissolved. So in as much as she says all those seats have been nullified, no election can be held at this point when Parliament is being dissolved. So it's just for formality, really, if we're being honest here. But yeah, she's going to pass a verdict over that. There will be no election on August 13th without Brian Mundu on the ballot. That's Binu Mpundu there. Politicians with no case in High Court. Politicians in Zambia should always have a case at High Court pending. So that's George Mtonga's philosophy there. And then obviously the Zambia-US relation, because of the statement that was made. Pretty much UPND youth in Dollar have raised that amount of money towards President Hichilema's campaign, surpassing their 500,000 target. Kasonde Mwenda dear family, our president has been arrested and currently detained at Kawata police station. So Kasonde Mwenda is in police cells. So talkative presidential aspirant Kasonde Mwenda of the EFF is providing curious officers at the Lusaka Kawata police station overnight company as they push him to share details of his claims that President Hakainde Hichilema's motorcade lost its way in Chinsali last week. So that's what he's been arrested for pretty much. And yeah, that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. And it's all rubbish. No sacred cows in corruption fight, yet UPND government only targets opponents. That's according to a statement being attributed to the outgoing US ambassador. And Nakachinda should not be in jail. That's according to Emmanuel Mwamba's publication. And pretty much that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. Have a beautiful morning.